Hi everyone, I hope you are all doing good. Welcome to today's lesson where we are going to be talking about the importance of language skills in content subject. We are basically going to be outlining how language skills, namely speaking, writing, reading, and listening, feature in life sciences as a content subject. Language serves as the foundation for all learning. Language skills improve communication and understanding in such a way that learners ask questions, they share their thoughts, and they actively engage in class discussions. In order to comprehend the life sciences content, learners must first understand English because proficient language abilities allow for learners to take part in debate effectively. Now let's get into the introduction of content. When we refer to life sciences, we are referring to the study of living things, focusing on how they work, survive, and interact with their surroundings. It explores the most fundamental components of life as a whole, such as cells, and explains essential processes like breathing, eating, and reproducing in both plants and animals. Life sciences also examines how living organisms coexist, how they can stay together, how they can live together in ecosystems, and rely on resources like sunshine, water, and air. Basically, life sciences dwells into the diversity of life. Now let's get into how different language skills are incorporated in life sciences as a content subject, starting off with reading. Reading is an ability to communicate that allows people to comprehend and interpret written content, which aids in learning, critical thinking, and knowledge application in a variety of settings. The ways that it is incorporated is that reading helps students to understand complicated scientific concepts in life sciences. It aids in helping learners to be able to comprehend complex definitions, complex words in life sciences. It also enables people to understand diagrams, to be able to interpret the diagrams, charts, and graphs correctly. It facilitates following precise instructions for experiments and practical work. Reading increases acquaintance with subject-specific terminology and vocabulary. And now, reading is linked to assessment tasks in such a way that the learners end up understanding concepts, learners end up reading instructions, and learners end up answering questions. In terms of understanding concepts, it helps them to understand biological processes such as photosynthesis and mitosis by examining answers in textbooks and other resources. Reading instructions, they just use reading to precisely follow experiment guidelines, and answering questions, accurate and well-structured answers. Writing following suit as the second language skill that we're going to talk about, which enables people to successfully communicate their knowledge, organize thoughts, and express concepts clearly and rationally in written form. The ways in which it is used is that learners can provide the educator with lab reports, test and exam answers, and research projects. Learners can also write essays on challenges like environmental protection or genetic reproduction to demonstrate their abilities and critical thinking skills. Writing is required to explain processes such as respiration or dividing cells in both short and broadened answer forms. They produce research findings. Writing is used in assessment planning for communicating observations, which allows students to record detailed observations during practical experiments. It is used in assessment planning for understanding scientific language, for critical thinking, also for collaboration and peer review, whereby writing tasks like group reports encourage collaboration, where learners write and review each other's work to improve clarity and accuracy. This enhances cooperative learning. This is a page in the CAPS document of life sciences, which outlines how to understand and make connections between ideas and concepts to make meaning of life sciences. In the process of making meaning and achieving understanding, learners must build a conceptual framework, they must organize or reorganize knowledge, they must write summaries, they must develop, and they must recognize. The CAPS document also outlines the criteria for assessing learners in life sciences, which includes conceptual understanding, application of knowledge, and reasoning. It also outlines that learners should be able to use language as a tool to organize and structure information, analyze and synthesize information, and also critically evaluate, whereby they can use language to explore the significance of certain biological occurrences, compare various ideas, and assess the veracity of scientific assertions. Speaking as another form of a language skill in life sciences allows learners to communicate topics in science, discuss ideas, present findings, and partake in collaborative discussions with simplicity and usefulness. The ways in which it is used can be in a form of oral presentations, whereby the learners present their findings from researches or experiments, explaining key concepts and results in a structured way. This will in turn enhance active learning in the classroom. This will also create a lively environment in the classroom. There can also be group discussions, whereby during group tasks, learners collaborate, share ideas, and explain biological processes to each other. They support one another, cooperative learning. There can also be class debates and practical demonstrations. So now speaking is used in assessment planning for explaining visual aids, whereby students use models, diagrams, or posters to further elaborate their understanding of biological processes in order to verbally explain them during assignments or projects assigned to them. Coming on to our last language skill being listening. As a language ability in the life sciences, listening enables students to follow directions, absorb explanations, and participate in talks or presentations to get a deeper comprehension of scientific ideas. So now listening is used in assessment planning. In order to ensure proper execution and safety compliance, learners must pay close attention to instructions on experimental procedures during practical assessment. It is also used in assessment planning for following verbal explanations and for engaging with oral feedback. In order to score better on upcoming tests, students pay attention to the comments that teachers make about their work. They need to pay heed to the feedback provided by their educator in the classroom so that they know where to fix, how to fix it, and when to fix it so that they can get better grades in the classroom and upcoming tests and examinations and assignments and researches as well. It is said that English is the medium of instructions. Therefore, this ascertains that learners are to get good grades when being taught language alongside content. In conclusion, the life sciences heavily rely on language proficiency as a teaching and evaluation tool. It is quite important for life science educators to understand that they are also involved in teaching language across the curriculum. A major factor in learners' overall success is their capacity to create scientific papers that are both clear and concise. I would also like to add on that language skills also support the CLIL, which is your content and language integrated learning, whereby the learners learn both the subject and the language at the same time. This allows them to be able to excel the subject content while also gaining the language skills. We have now come to the end of our lesson. I would like for each and every one of you guys to write a reflection that describes what you have learned from today's lesson. I would also like to thank you for taking your time to attend the lesson. Thank you very much. You are all appreciated. Goodbye.